All right, so sketch the picture, classify triangle OPQ by its sides, then determine whether it's a right triangle. So sketch the picture. If you have graph paper, that's great. You don't need it. You could just sketch it, but you do want to know where those points are, that P is at -1, 2, 0 is at the origin, 0, 0, or O is at the origin, and Q is at 6, 3. So if we're going to classify it based on its side lengths, we need to know the length of each side. So we are going to have to find the distance of each side. So I'm going to start with the distance of PO. From -1, 2, and 0, 0. I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. And to remind you from chapter 1, here is the distance formula. x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1 squared. So I'm going to plug in my numbers. x2 is 0. x1 is -1. Since I'm subtracting a -1, they both change to addition. y2 is also 0. y1 is 2. And I'm going to keep going and I'm going to simplify. So 0 plus 1 right here. 0 plus 1 is 1. Zero minus 2 is -2. I'm going to square those. 1 squared is 1. -2 squared is +4. I get the square root of 5. So this side length on my triangle is the square root of 5. Okay, then I'm going to need to find the distance. Let's find the distance of PQ next. So I'm going to erase this. Oh, I can't. Shucks. Okay. I'm going to move over and make some space. So now I'm going to find the distance of PQ. So P is at -1, 2. Q is at 6, 3. I'm going to make this x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'm still following my distance formula right here. So I'm going to plug those numbers in. So x2 is 6 minus x1 is -1. 2 negatives, that changes to plus. All right, y2 is 3 minus y1 is 2. I'm going to keep going. 6 plus 1 is 7. 3 minus 2 is 1. 7 squared is 49. 1 squared is 1. I get the square root of 50. All right, lastly, I'm going to find the distance. Okay, so we did PO, we did PQ, let's do OQ. So I have 0, 0, and then Q is at 6, 3. And I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. So pause the video, see if you can get your distance formula, see if you can get this, see if it's coming back to you. Should be 6 minus 0, 3 minus 0. So I get 6 squared, and 3 squared. So I get 36 plus 9, and I get the square root of 45. So I can see right here that all three of my side lengths, I'll make them yellow, or no, I'll make them green. Square root of 50, square root of 45, square root of 5, those are all different. So this is scalene because all three sides are different. So if I classify this triangle, it is scalene. The second part of the question asks if it is a right triangle. So I'm not sure if your teacher covered this last year or not, but to tell if a triangle is right, you use what's called the Pythagorean Theorem, and you do a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and c is your biggest side. So I'm going to put in my side lengths. I'm going to put in square root of 5 squared, square root of 45 squared, and square root of 50 squared. When you use the Pythagorean theorem, the c has to be the biggest side. So 50 has to go at the end. Then the other thing that comes up when you have a square root and a square, so when I have a square root and a square, they basically cancel each other. They cancel each other and I'm left with a plane 5. Plane 45 and a plane 50. And since I get 50 and 50, yes, this is a right triangle. So pause the video, rewatch that question if you need to. I'm going to go on to example. All right, we're going to prove the triangle sum theorem. We're going to prove that every triangle has 180 degrees. So draw the picture, write given, write proof, write all this stuff here. So you need this, and you need your diagram. So pause the video to set that up, and then you're going to go ahead and set up your statements and your reasons. Now remember, we always start with what is given to us, okay? Okay, so if I look on the diagram, I can see that there's a little arrow right here and a little arrow right here. So what's given is that it's a triangle. And it's also given that BD is parallel to AC. That was given on our diagram. Okay, let's think about what else we know. There's not a ton that we know, but I do know that, let's see, line D is a line. Since that is a line, angles 4, 2, and 5 are supplementary because they're on a line. It's not a linear pair. It's actually what's called a linear triplet because there's 3 angles. So angle 4 plus angle 2 plus angle 5 equals 180 degrees. I'm going to call it a linear triplet. You could put supplementary. That would also be fine. Something like that. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and erase that. So let's see what else do we know. So I know that we have parallel lines. I'm going to make my parallel lines blue. And the side of your triangle, like BC, that is a transversal. So what do we know about like angle 5 and angle 3? Those should be congruent, and ask yourself, what kind of angles are 5 and 3? Those are alternate interior angles. Okay, and we can basically just say the same thing on this side, 1 and 4. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 4. And those are also alternate interior angles. Okay. Then what I can do here is, if you look back up here, angle 4, right? Angle 4 is congruent to angle 1. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to angle 1. I'm going to keep angle 2. And then angle 1 okay, and then angle 5 is congruent to angle 3. So I'm going to change these two. And I'm basically using substitution. All right, so for problem 4, take a second, pause the video, draw your diagram. We are using our exterior angle theorem. So I know that the exterior angle, 2x minus 5, that should equal x plus 70. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. So 2x minus 5 equals x plus 70. And if you want to pause the video, test your algebra skills, you're going to solve for x. So I'm going to minus x, 2x minus 1x is x. I'm going to add 5, so x equals 75. Then I need to find all of the angles. Well, I'm going to go ahead and plug in x. So 2 times 75 minus 5. So 2 times 75 is 150. Minus 5 is 145 degrees. Okay, I already know that this angle is 70. I know that this angle is 75 because x is 75. I have a couple choices for finding this angle, this red angle. I can do 180 minus 145. I can add 75 and 70, which is 145, and subtract from 180. So that angle should be 35 degrees. All right, last problem. Let's see, what do you need to write down? In the painting, the red triangle is a red. I'm going to just go ahead and draw this a little bit better. The red triangle is a right triangle. So let's go ahead and draw a right triangle. The measure, then you need this. The measure of one acute angle is twice the measure of the other. Find the measure of each acute angle. So the measure of one acute angle is twice the other one. So I don't know what either is, but I'm going to call one 2x and one x because one is twice the other one. So I know that these two angles, that x and 2x, are complementary. I know that those two add up to 90. So I'm going to say x plus 2x equals 90. I combine my like terms. 1x and 2x is 3x. I divide by 3. X is 30. So this angle is 30 and this angle is 60. And if you just kind of knew 30 is half of 60, that also would work as well. That's no problem. All right, so the homework will be on big ideas. The summary is asking first to summarize what types of triangles are there based on side lengths. So talk about scalene, isosceles, equilateral. Second question, summarize the angle measures of how you can classify triangles. So acute, obtuse, and right. What is the triangle angle sum theorem? And what is the exterior angle theorem? Have a great day.